Hey everyone, and welcome to part two of our series on creating a simple, effective enrollment process. I'm going to be passing over to Nikhil Joshi, who will be taking us through today's presentation. But before I do, just a couple of things to note. We do have part one of this series, if you did happen to miss that, on a YouTube video that I'll be sending out in a follow-up email, and also a recording of this webinar. So if at any point you need to step out or miss a section, you'll be able to watch that in the recording being sent out via email. You'll also be sent some information on getting in touch with Nikhil if you have questions about the presentation or things that you'd like to see from him. So let me go ahead and pass it over to you, Nikhil, and we can get started.
All right, good morning, everybody. Give me just a moment here as we share our screen. Austin, are we good?
Yep, looks good to go.
All right, excellent. Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Austin and Nikhil Joshi. I know some of you guys have been a part of these webinars before, and honored and very thankful to Zen Planner for the opportunity to be able to share with you guys this morning. We've been Zen Planner clients for quite some time now, over 5-6 years, and Zen Planner has been a big part of our growth as a business. So we are very grateful for the opportunity to give back. We know there's a lot of martial arts and CrossFit gyms and other types of businesses listening in today. Though I am a martial artist and though we do run a martial arts school, our information is applicable to any business. So even if you're not, even if I do refer to specific martial arts examples or whatnot, do know that the same concepts apply to everything and any type of business for that matter as well. So without further ado, we'll go and get started. So for those of you guys who attended before, you guys have heard, but a little bit of background behind us and our school. We as a martial arts school, our organization has been around for 27 years. The man you see in the middle down there, Shion Brad Wennerberg, he is my teacher, and he is the founder of our system of martial arts and our martial arts school. 27 years ago, almost exactly, he opened up American Martial Arts Academy. And it began with the vision to be of service. And a lot of martial arts schools back then were a very old school type model. What his goal was to keep the traditional martial arts alive, which we still do today, but at the same time be able to reach the masses. Today, we have at our main campus, we have 15,000 square foot locations serving over 750 active students on track to gross over 1.5 this year. About 7 years ago, my wife and I, we opened up our Placentia campus, which has been an awesome blessing. We get a chance to be able to work it together as a family, and it's had the opportunity to grow. And as I mentioned, Zen Planner has been a big part of that as well. But through the systems that were created with our main campus, this school already within the last 6.5 to 7 years is about 350 active students and on track for over $1 million this year. Both schools, we are at the end of the day, even though we have these big numbers, we are a mom and pop school. I teach martial arts every day still, and so do the rest of our team. So they're family owned and they're family operated. And all of the systems that we share are things that we're actively doing as well. They're not just theory. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into it today. The title, like we talked about in our last webinar, but we'll review, is to create a simple, effective enrollment process. And we talked about that last time. If you missed the last webinar, that's okay. You can just listen to this one. You can always catch up on the last one later. I'm sure we'll send a link out to both after this one. But the idea is with whatever we talk about today is keeping it simple. Oftentimes, when we go into enrollment processes, when we're helping schools grow as consultants, we find that it gets very complicated, where there's this program and that program and this program. There's this opportunity to start, but if you start in this month, it's a little bit different. Our enrollment is standard year-round, and we're going to show you exactly what that looks like in a couple moments. It's got to be effective. It's got to work. If it's not working, and when I say working, that means got to be bringing people in the door. That's part of the enrollment process. Got to get people signing up, got to get people writing that check, handing you that credit card, but got to get people staying as well. If they're not staying, it's not working. A lot of martial arts schools, like we discussed in our previous session, I've seen them get 30, 40, 50 students in the door per month, but then only 3 to 4 are staying. Whereas a school that maybe is enrolling 20 students per month, and when they're keeping 18 to 19 in month 3, month 4, month 5, that's going to be a lot more effective for long-term growth. Last but not least, there's got to be a process. Process is critical. We talked about that last time, as some of you guys may remember, with the difference between Apple and Dell. There's a big difference right there. If you missed that webinar, definitely go back and check it out. But it's got to be simple. It's got to be duplicatable. It's got to be something that anybody can do. And we're going to show you today exactly what that process looks like. Last webinar, just to recap a little bit more, we talked about the different aspects. We talked about marketing, how to get students in the door. We talked about the phone call process. And those were 2 big aspects of last week. Understanding how to answer the phone call, understanding how to answer the specific questions, how to take control of the conversation, what to do when they ask about price. We talked about not hiding it, but being straightforward, but at the same time, being direct and helping them get through the door. Today, we're going to go a little bit deeper into it now. We're going to talk about the trial offer. We're going to talk about the importance of that. We're going to talk about the first class experience and how critical that first class experience is. And we're also going to talk about the enrollment. And later today, we're going to show you the exact enrollment sheet that we use at the end of this webinar. And we have a copy for it for anybody who'd like as well. So feel free to email or head to that link if you'd like, and we'll give you a copy of exactly what we utilize day in and day out. So let's go and get started with that. If you guys have any questions throughout this webinar, we'll have some time for Q&A at the end as well. So if you do have questions, feel free to put them in the chat, and Austin will gather those, and we'll see if we have some time to answer some of those at the end today. Let's talk about the trial offer. So the trial offer is critical, and we have all seen on banners everywhere, this, that, and the other, lots and lots of trial offers. I'm sure we're all in different Facebook groups or this, that, and that's the common debate. Do I do the 6 weeks for $69 or the 9 weeks for $99 or the, whatever the case may be? First off, it's important to be consistent with whatever you choose. You have to have some kind of trial offer. And the trial offer the goal of the trial offer is to give them a taste and take it away, to put it bluntly. The perfect example of that is Costco, right? Costco or Sam's Club or what have you. When you go through Costco, especially in the afternoon, you'll see a bunch of samples. And Costco invests thousands upon thousands and thousands of dollars per day in those samples. Why is that? Because it works. If they hand out enough, they know that a certain percentage is going to try it, a certain percentage is going to buy it. But when you go to Costco, they're not going to give you the whole store, right? If you're going to go through and they're not going to give you the whole, big old plate of mac and cheese so you can diagnose and, check out whether you really like it or not. They're going to give you a little bit of a taste, and they're probably going to, put something in there that you really like as well, right? They're going to give you a little bit of the product. And once you do that, great, now you're hooked. So with that, it's important to have a couple things with their trial. The length of trial is important. We found that a shorter trial works best for us. And we've tried lots of different trial programs. We originally started when we first started with the program, we were trying to sign them up directly onto a program. We do a trial lesson and we go directly for a month program or 3-month program or something like that. Then we started with a trial program. We started with a 2-week program back in the day. We did a 1-week program. We did a 2-class program, a 1-class program. We found that based on the quality of our classes, if the quality is there, 1 class is enough. We give them a taste of it, and if your first class experience, like we'll talk about, is strong enough, they're going to want to sign up. Part of that has to do with your scheduling as well. You have to have an easy, flexible schedule that makes it easy for them to come in and take part of the trial. So whether you choose 1 class or 2 classes or a week or whatnot, it's got to be easy for them to come in. With that, you have to make sure that when they come in, you have strong processes there to help them follow up with it as well. What we recommend for length of trial is 1 class. That's what we do. If you feel like you need something longer or your numbers are so big that, hey, you have a lot of people coming in and you can't meet with them all, maybe you go to 2 classes. Maybe you go to a week at the most. But we found that if you go longer than a week, what happens is when you see those 6 weeks for $69 and 9 weeks for $99, it may work for some. But what we found based on our experience with the Groupon offers or whatnot is the longer the trial, they start to look at it like a sports season. Okay, so for example, when you sign up for soccer, you do 10 weeks. Okay, you do 12 weeks. When you sign up for basketball, you do 10 to 12 weeks as a child. So when you sign up for a 9 weeks for 99 special, all right, all of a sudden you're doing 9 weeks. Okay, we've done our 9 weeks. Let's move on to the next activity. Remember, the goal of the trial is to get them on a standard ongoing type program. Price of the trial. We used to charge for our trial. We don't anymore. We made that shift about 3 to 4 years ago. We should charge, our last trial that we charged for was $49 for a class and a uniform. We no longer charge for it. The reason why is because we believe in our product, and we know that once they try out a class, and it's going to be so strong, and our systems are so strong that they're going to sign up, and they do 90% of the time. Lastly, one of my favorite acronyms is KISS. Keep it simple, Sensei. And what that means is we don't need to be constantly changing our trial. We moved from 2 weeks to 1 week to 1 month, but we stuck with it for quite a while before we made the decision to move on. A lot of times we drive past martial arts schools or new martial arts schools that we work with. They tell us about all the trials they've done, and every month it's changing, and this, that, and the other. Keep it simple. Okay, our ongoing year-long process is when someone comes in, whether they inquire from a website or they inquire from a school, or no matter what type of marketing they come from, they do one class, they get a uniform, and that's that. If the product is great enough, they'll buy, right? If you're at Costco and the product isn't great enough, they're not going to buy. But if the product is there, and that's why Costco does so much product screening, if the product is there, and our product is our classes, if it's amazing and they're having an awesome experience, like we'll talk about in a couple of minutes, they're going to buy. Now, here's exactly what we do as far as the trial goes. We offer a free class with a free uniform. It's simple. It's on our website. From our website, if you go to it at karateyoshi.com, you'll see there's a form right on top. You'll sign up for their free class. Every page on our website alludes to that free class. And from that free class, they fill out the form and they have an opportunity to be able to book their free class right there and then. When they call on the phone, same thing. We invite them to come in for a free class. We throw in the uniform in there as well. Now, with that, a lot of people that we work with, they say, hey, the uniform, it costs money. Well, so do samples at Costco. Okay, I would rather give away a uniform to 100 prospects, and sure, that costs me $10 uniform or whatever it costs us. But if that increases their opportunity of staying, that's critical. The goal of the trial is to make them feel like we'll talk about in our first class experience in the next slide, like they're already part of what's going on. When they got a uniform and they're out there and mom and dad are taking pictures of that first day with that first uniform and they're taking pictures of that first class, all of a sudden they feel like they're already a part of. So that's why we include the uniform in there, regardless of the cost. Remember, the student value is a big part of that. I'd give away a uniform any day if it means that it has a percentage chance of more students signing up. It's not about how much money I make on the trial. It's about what we're gaining from that student enrolling. So if you have any questions on the trial process, feel free to jump in there and we can answer those as well in a little bit. Now, let's talk about the first class experience, the tour in the first class. This is critical. This goes back to our product. Now, we do a lot of sessions on product, and that may be one of our future webinars as well that we discuss, but your classes have to be effective. And as well as your experience, the product is everything from your classes to your lobby to your staff that greets them when they enter the door. All of that is a part of that experience and a part of your product. So when we talk about first day experience, and we had a question in the last webinar is how do I do a tour? If you have all you have is a mat, the tour is still important. The tour begins, and that first class experience begins the moment they walk in your door. The moment you walk in the door, they should be greeted by somebody introducing themselves right there and then with a handshake and a smile. Okay? If they're not greeting, I've walked into martial arts schools before when I'm on vacation and I'm sitting there for about 10 minutes or so, and no one's there to greet. Everybody's kind of busy doing their thing, and people walk out. Okay? Within our school, we have a standard that when someone walks in, they're greeted immediately. Part of the first day experience is, what does your school look like from the outside? Is it clean? Okay? From the outside of your school, when someone's pulling up to your parking lot, is it clean? Are there parking spots available? Now, sometimes it's out of our control, but sometimes it is. Okay? As a trademark, our instructors, we park some are farther away. We leave our prime parking spots for our students. Okay, so be aware that that first impression is important. You only have one chance for a first impression. Your first day experience, when you walk into the studio, are you greeted? But is the studio clean? Okay, is the trash cans overflowing? Okay, is it chaos everywhere as far as is there food crumbs on the ground or whatnot? You know, today, right now, some of you guys may hear in the background, we have 40 kids in summer camp in the background going on the training floor right now. As you can imagine, 40 kids in summer camp, they make a big mess in our lobby when they're all eating a snack out there. What our process is as soon as their snack time is done, before they head into their classes, that room is absolutely clean. Because if a prospect walks in at that moment, it's got to be that first experience. They don't care that there's 40 summer campers that have been there before. All right, it's all about that experience and that first impression. Is your training floor clean? Okay, when your instructors are done with the bag, are they flopped around everywhere or are they put away neatly? Okay, if parents are coming in looking for discipline, or adult students for that matter, coming in looking for a discipline and structure, but they see chaos out there, remember that product is your floor. When students come in, or when families come in for that time, we take them on a quick tour. And we highlight the benefits. You know, we take them in, we show them the training floor. And we don't just say, hey, here's our training floor. This is where the majority of our martial arts classes happen. And we tell them, we talk a little about our instructors at that point. Part of what's unique about our program at our school is that our classes are age appropriate. We have an excellent instructor-student ratio. For us, it's 9 to 1. Whatever yours is, share it. We talk about our instructors are well-trained. Go through your training process. Find what your benefits are. And the purpose of a tour is to highlight your key benefits and to pre-frame enrollment. So when they come in, it's not, if you like to get started, when you come in, you change here. No, it's, hey, when you guys get started, you're going to have your uniform in a couple of moments. And every time you come to class, you're going to get changed here in the dressing room. Every time you come to class, you're going to grab your attendance card. Mom and dad, in the future, when you're watching class, you're more than welcome to have a seat here in these chairs, have a cup of coffee. You're always welcome to stay and enjoy. When they come in, assume that they're signing up. We hand them a welcome pack. We get them their uniform in class, and we hand them a welcome pack. And right there in the beginning, the welcome pack highlights the benefits. If we have a moment, we go over the schedule with them and the pricing as well. And we hand them the pricing sheet that we're going to share with you in a couple of minutes. We gather their info. We use Zen Planner. Zen Planner is great with their tablet app. We just hand them a tablet. They fill out their information on the tablet. Boom, it's automatically in your Zen Planner database. For follow-up or when they sign up, as we expect them to, they're already in there, ready to go. The other part of it is during the class. So during the class, there's a couple key components. Our goal in the class is to get them excited. Okay, there's a rule in martial arts called SSL, smiling, sweating, and learning. Lots of people have talked about that before, but that is essential during that first class, especially. So when they come in, they better be having fun. They better be learning something. There better be value shown for the kids. There better be value shown for the parents as well. Okay? It's got to be the right instructor. When you have students in there, whether it be an adult class or a junior class, whether it be martial arts or CrossFit, doesn't matter. When you have a beginner student, they are the most important student in that class. So with that, your instructor should be dynamic and should know how to work with them. Okay? If you have a boring instructor or someone who's not well trained out there working with your beginner students and they don't know what to do, or they're not dynamic, or they're not personable, that's that white belt's only opportunity of the martial arts. And that's their impression of what every class is going to be. So it's critical that you have the right instructor that's well trained and knows what to do. It's also got to be the right curriculum. It's not about impressing them. Okay, a lot of martial arts schools that we walk into and help, we see their beginner enrollment class, or they videotape it and send it to us, and we see that they're teaching way too much. Okay, and we find that keeping it simple is essential. The idea is you want to show them that they can do it. Okay, so we teach them a couple basic techniques. We don't go into the hard stuff yet. We keep it something practical, something simple, something fun. We do more bags, we do more excitement, because we want them to be able to experience and show them that, hey, we can do it, not I'm overwhelmed. Okay, so as a white belt brand new, let's say you're teaching them a kata or a form or pinyon or whatever it is, that's probably not the best thing for white belt to do. Teach them that technique, get them excited about it, show them that they can succeed. After the class, And we do have more information on that. So if you guys want some more information about exactly how we do that first class, we have it written out in a simple script. Feel free to email or text or whatnot, and we'd be glad to get you that information. After the class, at some point, we've already handed them the pricing sheet, which we'll go over in a little bit. Feel free to sit aside them, ask them if they have any questions, go through a little more detail like we'll talk about, and get them signed. And then the next step is getting them signed up like we'll talk about. Feel free to, if they don't sign up, what we do is we schedule their next official class. We use the Zen Planner kiosk app as well, and we'll talk about how we get used to that when we go over the program sheet. But that makes it very simple for that sign-up process to go through. Again, if you have any questions or whatnot, feel free to answer them ask them in the chat box, and we'll be glad to get to them. Now, let's move on to enrollment. So we covered the trial offer. We talked about the first class experience. Now we get to enrollment. If I can get in the chat box, just out of curiosity here, how many, out of those attending right now, how many people are you guys enrolling per month? Just out of curiosity, if you guys don't mind, answer that in there and I'll take a look. Okay, so we got kind of a range here. Some people are enrolling 3 to 4, some people are enrolling a little bit more than that. Okay. So let's talk about enrollments and pricing. So pricing structure. So a lot of people ask us, okay, how do we choose what our pricing is? Number one, your pricing is built on your product. You have to have a product that's worthwhile. Your pricing is not based off of your competitors, okay? It's important, I think, to know, especially when you're entering a market, what your competitors charge, okay? And it's important to keep abreast of that. But at the same time, you're not basing off of your competitor. There's lots of different models on pricing, and Brian Tracy, if you study what he talks about, talks a lot about this as well. One of my favorite lines of what he talks about is he says this, is that you can choose 2 of 3, low cost, high quality, and high service. You can be 2, but you can't be all 3. Okay, so think about that. Low cost, high quality, and high service. We choose high quality and high service. Okay, you can't do that while charging less. So if you're trying to undercut what's going on around you, you're going to get those kind of results. In our markets, we charge the highest by far compared to any other martial arts school around. In a 5-mile radius, we charge the most. Okay, probably in a 10-mile radius. But at the same time, we're also the largest school around in our area. Okay, we're the premier model that students think of when they think martial arts. A great example of this in a different industry, just like we talked about Dell and Apple the other day, is the Motel 6 or a Ramada Inn versus a Marriott. So here on the left, you got 2 pictures. The top left, as you can guess, is a Motel 6 in Philadelphia. Okay, Motel 6, hey, it's got what you need, right? It's got a bed, it's got a phone, it's even got a microwave there in the back. But then on the bottom right, you have a Marriott in Philadelphia. Okay, so you got a 2-star, 3-star, whatever that is, a Motel 6, compared to a Marriott, which is probably about a 4-star. Marriott obviously charges quite a bit more, but look at the difference. Okay, these are pictures pulled right from their websites. Okay, you can see even the care of quality they took into their pictures matters. You can see that, hey, which one seems more welcoming? Okay, which one are you more likely to invest in? The Marriott, for the most part. So with that, the same thing holds true with the martial arts. Okay, we can either be low cost, high quality, and high service. We can be 2 of those 3. Choose high quality and high service. But there is a cost to doing business. There is a cost to making that happen. You want to have a low barrier to entry. Okay, so oftentimes in the past, what we've done is we used to charge for a martial arts class, and we used to charge for materials, which we still do, and a registration fee and whatnot. And it costs $500 for someone to even get started in the door. Okay, what happened is there's going to be a percentage of people. Sure, you may be making more money up front, but there's going to be a percentage of people who are never going to try because it's a lot harder to let go of $500. Whereas if it's a lower barrier to entry, and we'll talk about exactly what we do in here in a moment, it's going to be a lot more practical for them to participate in. Make it simple and make it easy, whatever you choose. Again, keep it simple. Registration fees. So a lot of times, I was at the Super Show and some of the presenters were talking about the registration fees that we use. We don't do any registration fee anymore. What is a registration fee? What is the purpose of a registration fee? Administrative costs? Administrative costs, if you have any, should be factored in to your enrollment, to your monthly tuition. Okay? But a registration fee is something old school that gyms used to use and 24-hour fitness still uses and all the other gyms out there. But there's no real purpose to it. And nowadays, the modern consumer can see right through that. Okay? If you want to charge more in your tuition. Okay? But don't hide costs in a registration fee. In our experience, parents found when we took away the registration fee, our enrollments went up big time. Okay? Again, keeping it simple. The goal of the presentation is to, as we head into the enrollment part of things, is being able to handle objections as they come up. So as we go through the next part of the presentation, we're going to talk about how to handle them, how to handle scheduling, how to handle, etc. You want to handle as much as you can before you go into as a part of your presentation. Okay? By being more upfront throughout the process, when people are asking about price and asking about this and asking about that, we've had way less objections. So let's go ahead and move into the next part. There we go. So this right here is our exact enrollment sheet that we use. There's 2 pages. We're going to go through both. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the seminar, if you go to this link, karateoc.com/coach, we will send you a copy of this and you can customize it for your school. But this is exactly what we utilize. Okay. So the first thing that we do is we always go over the schedule first. Okay. Our schedule, again, you want to have lots of options and make it simple. And we offer a flexible schedule at our school. So we recommend minimum twice a week. And you can mix and match your days and times. Doesn't matter to us. If you'd like a copy of the schedule, we'll be sending those out as a part of the resources as well. With that, we cover the benefits. Okay, we cover confidence, focus, respect. Okay, testimonials are great tools to utilize. Excellent tools to utilize. So make that a part of what's going on. So when I talk to a parent about our program sheet, I'll say, hey, we have a couple, and again, this is for kids. It's a little bit different for adults. But we say, hey, there's a couple key goals in our martial arts program: the confidence, the focus, and the respect. Is there anything in particular you'd like to see your child really get out of the martial arts? You want to get them thinking about the why behind what they're doing. When students get started, there's a basic materials package. It includes minimal stuff, exactly what they're going to be using in classes. Their sparring gear in their bag and their patches. We should include a lot more. This was a lot more. We should charge $199 and $249 for materials back in the day. We made it minimal. We made that shift about 2 years ago, as a means of easing the barrier to entry, making it as simple as possible. We're constantly pre-framing. So we want to encourage other students to get started as well. Your best adult students, if you're running a kids-based school, are the parents. Okay, so we offer a free month and a free uniform for the parents to try it out as well. This is our program sheet. Okay, it's on our website. So remember, as we talked about last webinar, we don't hide our programs. It's on our website, and this is exactly what we shared in our last webinar as well. So when we show this to families, our program is based off of twice a week, as you mentioned before. We have 2 different types of programs that we offer. We have our starter program. We have our Black Book Club program. Most students start off on our starter program. It's based off of twice a week, and it's based off of $179 a month. And there's 2 ways of budgeting it. We've got the budget monthly, which is based off of the first month and the materials, so it's $299. After that, it's $179 a month. Or we offer a discount for those families who would like to pay it in full, which is a 15% discount. Okay. With our programs, the difference between the 2 programs is backed by the 12-month program is backed by what's called our hold time guarantee, which means that for whatever reason, if we have to cancel our programs, you get charged what you've used and you get the rest of the money back. We don't do any contracts at our school. So even with our monthly program, as we talk about here on the side, if a student wishes to cancel the program, 30-day notice, and that's it. We also have our Black Book Club program. Some students ask about this right off the bat. It's based off a $40 difference. It includes unlimited classes, etc. Boom, here you go. We're straightforward about it. Now, percentage-wise, 85% of people will choose the starter program. Some students will move directly into the Black Book Club program. They're interested, they're excited about it. That's okay if they don't. That's not my goal. My big goal is to pre-frame that eventually, if you have an upgrade, the upgrade is there. Okay, by showing it to them right off the bat, letting them know that, hey, this is going to happen at some point. And we let them know at some point, most students start off on our starter program, but 3 to 4 months into it, most families transition to the LAPA program. We'll always recommend it when we definitely feel they're ready for it. And you can change into that program at any time. After that, it's always important to go for the close. Looking at the 2 options, which one sounds better to you, the monthly or the 12-month? Okay, keep it simple. Some martial arts schools that I've seen have 5, 6, 7 different options or different programs. We have 2. If you break it down, if you include the LAPA program, we have 4. Okay, and that's the most that we have. It's not customizable, so we don't negotiate or like that. It's simple and it's right there. We ask them which one they prefer. If they have any questions, we answer them. Questions are great. We'll get them sized up for the materials today. Which option sounds best for you? Okay, we have our tablet right there, which you already gathered the information on. Log into the kiosk, boom, take care of payment right there and then. Materials are set in the back, ready to go for them, done deal. If for whatever reason that they're not ready to get started right there and then, maybe they need to talk to a husband or this and that and the other. Once we narrow down the objection, we do our best to handle it. But if absolutely they can't start that day, not a problem, great. Let's schedule your next class. I'd love to schedule a second class for you guys. That way dad can be here. Or that way, we'll have his materials ready for him for next class. When works best for you, okay? And always schedule a meeting out of a meeting, which is critical. Okay? So again, if you'd like a copy of the sheet, you're more than welcome to screenshot it right now if you like. But if you'd like for the actual copy of it, go to that link and we'll send you an exact copy of our schedule. We'll put that in there for you guys as well, so you can see what that looks like, as well as this sheet right here. So it'll make sense of everything that we're talking about, and you can customize it for your school. No matter what you're doing, make sure that you have someone review this periodically, okay? One of the things that I love to do is look not just within our industry, but we look outside of our industry and look at their enrollment and sales processes as well. And there's always something to learn, just like we talked about the Apples and the Dells and the Motel 6 and the Marriotts. There's always something to learn about the sales process or enrollment process or process in general from another business. The other part of that too is have a mentor. Have someone who can look at your processes for you and say, hey, is it working or is it not? Okay, what are your statistics looking like? That's what we do for a lot of our schools that we work with, but it's important to have someone objectively take a look and say, is it really working? Is it simple? Is it effective? Is it duplicatable? Role play it. Okay, we go through this. It's very simple to do. Any one of our team members can do it, but we role play to make sure that all of our terminology is on track, and we critique each other with that as well. We have schools that send us their enrollment processes and videotape them, and we take a look at them. But it's important to have someone periodically check in, and I still do this to this day. I talk to Shion sometimes and get his advice too. But it's always important to have a mentor. So let's go to review. So we talked about a lot over the last 2 webinars, and that's why we broke it up into 2 pieces. We talked about the marketing, talked about the phone call, talked about the trial offer today, talked about that first class experience and the enrollment process. If you do these 5 correctly, remember it turns into 2 things. It turns into referrals and retention. Those 2 things are essential. If all of these things are in alignment, referrals will happen and you'll be able to retain them. But if somewhere along the way, there's a misalignment where your marketing doesn't match up with how you answer the phone, or doesn't match up to what their first class experience is like, or your enrollment is not what it is in the phone, you're not going to be able to see that retention and referrals, okay? If your product doesn't match up to any of this, the retention is not going to be there, the referrals are going to be there. So remember, those are, you got to be able to keep them once you sign them up. You got to be able to back up what you're presenting. Okay? But if you do those 2 things, again, looking at our statistics, we sign up 90% of the people who walk in the door, who try to class, between both of our locations, we sign up 90% of them. Okay? With that, we keep the majority of them as well. Okay, we track our statistics. If you look at a year, over a year's period, we sign up 20 students, 6 months later, 15 to 17 of them are still there typically. A year later, same thing. Obviously there's attrition, but we're keeping those students. And that leads into the chain of referrals. Again, if you have any questions on that, or if you have an enrollment sheet that you want us to take a look at, feel free to shoot us an email. We'll be glad to take a look at that for you guys. Other than that, we'll open it up to questions.
Yeah, so we had a couple of questions. The first one is, do you discuss character development during your intro lessons?
Absolutely. That's something that we talk about in every single one of our classes. So we do mat chats as a part of our kids' classes. And I'm assuming you're talking about kids here.
Mm-hmm.
We do mat chats as a part of that. We teach them our student oath real quick. We read it all together at the end of class, and we also do it with our white belts. It's written out on our floor. So absolutely, that's something that's a part of our program.
Sweet. And then, do you think not having a contract improves the enrollment process?
100%. Absolutely. We've helped out a lot of schools, some with contracts, some without. For a short period of time, we tried out contracts as well. We found that it was a barrier to entry. Okay, our product, then this is our strength and experience. You do what's best for your school. But we found that our product sells itself. And if we're doing a great job teaching them, and if we're doing a great job helping them, and the kids are excited and motivated, and the parents are seeing a value, they're going to stick with it. Okay, and so retention-wise, it's, as long as you're doing a great job, it's going to happen. Natural attrition is always going to happen whether you have a contract or not. But why let that be a barrier for someone to get started with you? Okay, if they're scared to get started, how many people don't sign up for a gym membership because, hey, we're scared to get started, right? So we want to be able to make it as easy as possible for them to be a part of what's going on.
Sweet. Well, that's all of the questions we had. Again, for everyone listening, we'll be sending out contact information that's shown here, as well as the recording of this webinar and last webinar, part 1 of the series, as well as Nikhil's How to Build a $1 Million Business. So quite a few webinars to watch in those recordings. But other than that, thank you for joining, and I'll let you know when our next webinar is coming up shortly.
Thank you so much, Austin, and thank you guys for the opportunity.